Solid Mind here, and today we're looking at the Powkiddy RGB30. I still don't know who names these devices. It's like they go on Google and it's like, give me a random name with numbers. That sounds catchy. But Solid Mind is here today, and we're looking at, should you buy this Powkiddy RGB30. You can't see the 30 because my big face is blocking the 30 at the end of it. But should you buy it? This costs a little bit more than those little handhelds that I've been looking at. It's about like £20 more, £30 more. And that's the thing I keep saying, like, for a little bit extra, you can get 10 times better experience. And should you buy this? From the quick look I've been looking at, price point wise and battery wise, short answer is I'm more in line with this, but let's find out together.
By saying that this is a seriously flawed device, but has some aspects to it that really push it above the others.
Why is it seriously flawed? I guess for me, I'm looking more in terms of the ergonomic aspects of it. It does have R1, R2, L1, L2. It does have the D-pad, the Joy-Cons, the R reset. It does have dual speakers in the front. It does have the start select button. It does have the A, B, X, Y buttons. It does have a much bigger, brighter display that is better than a lot of these tiny retro handhelds. It does have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. It can do HDMI. So my question is then, how is this flawed?
And we'll start by talking about the bad stuff. The first thing is the D-pad. It's a little bit too sensitive for me. So if you are playing a game that requires very precise controls, then this one may not be a very good fit unless you're comfortable going in and adjusting the PCB board, and I have guides on how to do that as well. The second thing about this one is that
That's a fair point. For you guys who don't know what that means, it's kind of like DPI. So DPI, I will show you what that means, right? So here's my mouse, right? So I want to go in a circle. My mouse has DPI settings. So DPI can control how much your physical movements affect the virtual movements. So if I change the DPI on my one, so it's a normal DPI, press the DPI button, see how like I'm doing the exact same movements, but my home controls are wider. Press it again. Oh, now it's tiny. Press it again, bigger. Press it again, bigger. Press it again, bigger. Press it again. Whoa, I'm going across like my whole page. So like DPI basically decides or tells the device how much physical movement affects virtual movement. So what he's saying here is more about the Joy-Cons have, in theory, a very high DPI setting. It's not DPI. It's more about how sensitive the Joy-Cons are. So a tiny movement could make it like move like crazy. See this mouse? It might move left and right and left and right. Whereas in a game where you need to do like tiny circular or left right movements, it might just fling you across the page. It might take you here, take you there, take you here, take you there. That's what he means. So that can be a downside. But after looking at other handhelds that are like £30, £20 cheaper that don't have this, I would rather have it. That's all I'm saying.
The battery and charging are a little bit wonky. For example, it's very finicky about which kind of charger and cable that you use.
So far, this has a lot of controls already. So it has the on button, which a lot of them start can be on. It has a R. What's R? Is that record? Don't know. That does not look like USB-C. That looks like HDMI. That is mini HDMI. You can find this on a lot of DSLRs. Okay, I'm speaking jargon again. You can find this on cameras. I said DSLR because DSLR means it does have a mirror in it. It's called a mirrored camera. Even mirrorless cameras do also have mini HDMI out. What that means is you can basically plug in a cable into this device and plug the other end into a TV or a display, and you can, whatever you play on your handheld, you can play on your TV or display, which is good. It does have volume buttons. A lot of the cheaper ones you need to go into settings to physically do that, and it does have L1, L2, R1, R2. So far it's good. Good. But I guess the charging can be a big hindrance thinking about that. It's does this come with a cable in the box? And I guess also it's how much power can go through this, because there are some chargers that are too powerful to use, or not powerful enough. I'll give you an example. So I have a cable where if you use it, in a state where you're charging an iPhone, it might not work. But if you're using it to charge an Android phone, it works perfectly. So I guess it depends what the chip inside this device has been programmed to do. If it's programmed to basically take only a set amount of power, or if it's the cable can only be oriented one way even though it's USB-C. That sounds crazy, I know, but I've had it before where you can orient the cable one way and charges, other way it doesn't charge, and that's a brand new cable. So it depends what cable came with it and also how much power is allowed to go through this device.
So I do recommend using the standard cable that comes with it, and then using a low powered charging brick if you.
I literally just said that. Honestly, literally. Because I have a OnePlus, and where's the power brick? Oh, it's literally here. For once. 1 second, let me get this. For once, I have it right here. Oh, goodness gracious. So here's a good example, right? I can't use this charging cable and power brick on certain USB-C devices because it's too powerful. The devices will not charge, even though this is able to charge. How many watts is this? Yes, it charges at 5 volts. This is a 30 warp charge 30. So this is a pretty powerful device. Most can't use 30 volts to charge, basically. So that might be a reason why, if most of the new power bricks are not able to charge these older or weaker devices. So most likely you have to get like an old iPhone charger or use a cable that comes with the device itself.
On top of that, the battery performance on these will vary by device. For example, I've got 3 of these at this point, and some will drain faster than the others. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but it is something to be mindful of. So yes, this definitely has some.
I do like the UI on this. The UI does look good. I think what does help it is the display, how big it is. It looks more square. Is it rectangular or square? I think it's square. The display isn't too bad. I don't mind it, but how big it is a big plus.
Some flaws to it, but let's talk about why it is even on this list in the first place. And the number one thing about this is its screen. It has a square 1:1 aspect ratio.
Yeah, I can clearly tell. It does look nice. I think having a square display plays into the element of the retro feel, because a lot of retro games are designed for square, or square-ish. I think the main format for a long time was 4:3. 4:3 is almost like square setting, so a lot of games were designed for that. So trying to get the aspect ratio to fit in a square like screen is easier when all games that you're emulating are designed already in 4:3. If you have a 16:9 aspect ratio, then when playing retro games, you have to either like emulate them so that you can see more of the screen, or you have to still see the 4:3 display, but the screen is just black on the edges. So that's a big plus for this
screen with a resolution of 720 by 720. And that's
Not
a
bad.
pretty high resolution compared to the other devices you can find around this price and at this size. And if you're picky about your pixel balance and integer scaling, then this is going to be a really good fit for many classic systems. For those
Nice.
systems that have a more squarish aspect ratio, things like Game Boy and Game Boy Color, these games are going to look amazing on here.
We are speaking the same language, honestly.